Hey everyone, Skull902 here, and for my 26th birthday, because it's become a tradition apparently, I'm going to do the first extra part of Sonic Mania, and it's going to be a fun time, I hope. But what exactly are we looking into for the first extra part of Mania? Why, we already did the Sonic playthrough. I'll be touching on Tails a little bit later, but now we're going to be taking a look into the differences featured in Knuckles' playthrough. So first up is the intro, Knuckles' exclusive Green Hill path, as well as what he looks like in the special stage. Just wanted to show that off a little bit. But to start things off, just like in 3 Knuckles, he gets a different intro. He's just chilling, and then, oh gee, the Egg Robos just took the Phantom Ruby away and knocked him right the fuck out. That was very rude of them, and now they're the hard-boiled heavies. So, you know, gotta put a stop to these motherfuckers. As you can see, they transported Knuckles somewhere different than Sonic, Tails, and everyone else. Knuckles is in like the underground caves of Green Hill Zone, which were featured in Sonic 1 8-bit as well as Generations. Something cool about it is that, you know, they pretty much immediately give you a special stage. It's very hard to miss, actually. And in the special stage, it plays out exactly the same, but here's what Knuckles looks like. You don't, you know, have a double jump to glide. There's no faster way to get the Chaos Emerald or anything. You don't have to collect the red spheres. And that's based off a misconception new players had. Younger players had, rather, in 3 and K. But Chaos Emerald screen is the same, except, of course, it says Knuckles. It'd be kind of weird if it said Tails or something. But, nah, it's some cool stuff that they gave you a Chaos Emerald right there. And once you get back onto Sonic's pathway, you can actually, like, backtrack a bit and get the first available Chaos Emerald to Sonic and, you know, everyone else. No idea what's up with this glitch. I was kind of freaking out. Being like, what's going on? Pretty amusing looking, though. But, no, it's kind of cool in that way. In 3 Knuckles, the earliest possible time that you could get all the Chaos Emeralds as Knuckles was slightly later than Sonic. But in Mania here, it's slightly earlier. So you can get 5 Chaos Emeralds in Green Hill Zone as opposed to 4. At least, that's like off the top of my head. But once you get back onto Sonic's path, it's basically the same. Now then, I wanted to show off a chemical plant path, as well as Super Knuckles, so why not combine the two? I don't know how many times they really do this for Knuckles in the level design, so I'm just picking out the ones that I know of. They do it here for Chemical Plant, as well as other ones that I'm showing here, but here's Super Knuckles. He doesn't have his Hyper Knuckles abilities. Which is kind of, like, you know, I have mixed feelings on that, because they didn't have the Hyper Forms in here. And speaking of that, we're actually going to see something fairly interesting later on, but no screen nuke when he latches onto the walls or anything like that. So that's a little disappointing, but, you know, there's the Knuckles path for Chemical Plant and Super Knuckles. So here's Mirage Saloon, Act 1. Like we saw in Sonic's playthrough, the Heavy Magician fucking knocked Knuckles down, but worry not, past me. Knuckles is not dead. He just gets his own exclusive Act 1, which I'm also terribly unused to. Which means that you all can see my horrible gameplay, because, like, I swear to God, I have 0 luck as Knuckles. Unless if it's like the adventure playthrough. I've never had any luck as Knuckles when trying to play as him for like LP or YouTube in general. Knuckles is like my kryptonite, or maybe not so much my kryptonite, but I seem to just do far worse playing as him than I do with other characters. Now, my unfamiliarity with Act 1 here of Mirage Saloon could definitely have a lot to do with that. But I'd like to blame my general lack of fortune. That was very unfortunate. Though that one was just stupidity on my part. But generally speaking, it's my lack of fortune playing as Knuckles. Whenever I'm trying to do something for YouTube. That being said, I do fucking suck at video games in general, so that's another thing. It's another thing indeed. Let me tell you, when I was getting this invincibility box here, I was kind of like thanking my lucky stars. Oh boy, a break finally. But yeah, so this one kind of shows that you can do specific level design for Knuckles and not really like break any kind of a pace. I feel like this fits right in. I think with other classic Sonic design, and it's pretty neato to see actually. I wouldn't mind at all if a Mania 2 had like 2 almost completely different playthroughs for Sonic and for Knuckles. If Knuckles' levels were designed like this, because there are a lot of spots where you're gonna need to use the glide, where you're gonna need to climb up to you know, make any actual significant progression. It's pretty ingenious that they were able to come up with something that you know, wouldn't feel un-Sonic-like in this respect. So hats off to the development team for that one. Some nice intuitive stuff here. I do have to say, though it's kind of easy to get lost on this part. Which I did, and eventually I do suffer for my unfamiliarity and getting lost. So, not without flaws, but I feel like they could definitely expand on this and, you know, have it work out really well. Imagine a Knuckles playthrough being, you know, very, very different from a Sonic playthrough. You know, 3 and K has got, like, you know, enough, right? And that's why I did a completely separate playthrough of 3 and K as opposed to just like a one-off video. And in Mania, there's moments, but it's not really all that much. And again, I'll repeat, that's why I'm doing just a single video here for Knuckles. Yeah, you can't fucking get to me this time, you little bastard. But, you know, if they did something like this for Knuckles entirely, that'd be pretty goddamn awesome. Because Knuckles is a good boy, and he deserves the nice treatment anyway. So, yeah. To end the level, we have this here shout out to Sonic Chaos. The boss pattern is pretty much the same, except he's a little bigger, so you can't just cheese a jump and you know, hug on the opposite side of the screen or anything. But it's a really nice shout out, I feel, to the 8-bit games, which I think are underappreciated. Once it gets to Act 2, there's a little tiny bit more Knuckles exclusive area, but it gets onto Sonic's path like very soon afterward. So here's Lava Reef. At this point in Lava Reef, the level will not let you progress as Knuckles as it normally did. You have to go through this wall here on the left. And that'll take you on a short Knuckles based pathway. And don't make the same mistake I did when I first played this. You don't want to go down, you want to go up. You definitely want to go up, but avoid that fire, because fire burns. I feel like I don't need to tell my audience of teenagers and adults this, but fire burns quite hot. But once you unlock that door, and whether or not you transform into Super Knuckles, I'm sorry. I just like using the super forms. I earned it, goddammit. But here we get a fight with the Heavy King, which Knuckles otherwise does not encounter. And this here is a really neat little bit. I fucking love this, that he remembers what happened back in 3 and K and, you know, decides to make a decision based off of that. This is the Emerald Altar from Hidden Palace Zone. And people were a bit confused by this for a little while in terms of, like, are these the Super Emeralds? Like, are the Super Emeralds broken? But Word of God says that they're actually stone replicas, and the Super Emeralds are fine. So it's a bit weird. I guess Knuckles is keeping them in some kind of safe somewhere. But, you know, for the Heavy King, he floats around, does some attacks. It's generally not that bad of a boss fight. I don't think I really needed Super Knuckles to do it, but, you know, again, I just like using Super. Again, I fucking earned it. Don't give me a goddamn problem in the comments section, please. Knuckles also gets a unique zone transition to Metallic Madness. He uses one of those teleporters there, so that's pretty cool. And last up, once you've gotten through the trappings of Titanic Monarch Part 2, we're going to meet the final boss. And I figured that since I actually did fight this guy as a regular Sonic in the normal playthrough, I should show off what like a proper super beatdown looks like. Because, quite frankly, Eggman's a little bitch and deserves it. So, he's going to do all the same attacks, right? You just gotta find an opportunity to jump on top. I would say that jumping on top is like the best strategy for when he actually opens up. Especially when all of the chords are exposed. Because it's pretty much guaranteed hits, especially if you know how to keep balance for that type of thing in Classic Sonic. So, you know, not much to worry about. He takes you to the same rooms, and there was at least one that I missed out on last time, so I will be able to show that off in the next extra video. But for now, we're just gonna beat up Eggman. You know, the Sonic world's favorite pastime, I'm sure. Fuck you, Eggman, you little bastard. And again, it's basically the same thing here. Just gonna go here and give a visit to the Heavy Rider. Or not the Rider. God damn it. I was thinking about the Heavy Rider. This is Shinobi. Gonna mock him for being unable to hurt us. You know, what? That's what my little duck there is supposed to be. I don't know, I'm weird. We're just gonna give Eggman one more visit before we go, making a complete and total mockery of this boss fight. All that needs to be done is just a couple more hits, and he's done. He is fucking done. Now, with one exception, or well, technically a couple exceptions, Knuckles doesn't go through Egg Reverie Zone, so this is pretty much the standard ending for Sonic Mania here. We didn't see it as Sonic, but, you know, the characters escape from there, and the whole place is blowing up, just like that. You know, it's exactly the same. So there's a look into the other ending of Sonic Mania and everyone else's, but that just about does it for all the changes in Knuckles' playthrough, and that's going to be about it for me. I've been Skull902. Thank you for watching, and have yourselves a wonderful day.